A visit to one of the great cities of the worlds of D&D overwhelms the senses. Voices chatter in countless different languages. The smells of cooking in dozens of different cuisines mingle with the odors of crowded streets and poor sanitation. Buildings in myriad architectural styles display the diverse origins of their inhabitants. And the people themselves, people of varying size, shape, and color, dress in dazzling spectrum of styles and hues, representing many different races, from diminutive halflings to stout dwarves to majestically beautiful elves, mingling among a variety of human ethnicities. A myriad of cultures and societies populate the world of D&D, some more fantastical than others. A hulking dragonborn of pure bravado and majesty pushes his way through a crowd. A group of gnomes laughs as one of them activates a clever wooden toy that moves of its own accord. Half-elves and half-orcs live and work alongside humans without fully belonging to the races of either of their parents. And there, well out of the sunlight, is a lone drow, a fugitive from the subterranean expanse of the Underdark, trying to make their way in an overly bright new world. But perhaps no other peoples of the worlds of D&D better exemplifies the darker side of society than Tieflings. Not the darkness of their own appearance or demeanor, not the darkness of their fiendish heritage or the dark magic of the lower planes that is their purview, but the darkness of society's reaction to them. For in a world of monsters that stalk the night, dark gods and demons that vie for mortal souls, and other unnameable horrors that whisper at the edges of reality, how could a tiefling ever fare well against the cruel ignorance and bigoted suspicion of society? Because if it looks like a monster, it must surely be one, right? I am William Stark.
I am Omar Timsaw.
And this is D&D Legends and Lore.
The empire of Bael Turath once spanned thousands of miles and served as a testament to the power of humans. And Voru-Koth was one of the jewels of the empire of Bael Turath. Sometimes called the City of Forges, it was ruled over by the emperor's sister, a human named Lady Najala. In their lust for more power and wealth, the powerful humans of Bael Turath, nobles, wealthy merchants, spellcasters, and priests, underwent a sinister transformation through diabolical pacts. They took on the appearance of their new masters: horns, tails, claws, infernal eyes, and skin as red as blood. Among the first to swear the oaths to devils and become a tiefling was Lady Najala. Seeing her power and influence grow as a result of her oaths, many of the other nobles of Voru-Koth lined up for the opportunity to participate. And the might and dread exuded from the empire began to shake the world.
To be greeted with stares and whispers, to suffer violence and insult on the street, to see mistrust and fear in every eye, this is the lot of the Tiefling. And to twist the knife, Tieflings know that this is because a pact struck generations ago, or profane tryst infused the essence of a fiend, be it demon, devil, or some other entity of primal malevolence, into their bloodline. Their appearance and nature are not their fault, but the result of an ancient sin, for which they and their children's children will always be held accountable. Tieflings inherit their devilish ancestors' corruption at birth, and must ever after contend with the darkness in their souls, or so some believe at least. Some Tieflings choose to strive to rise above their legacy, or to disown it entirely, whereas others seem to revel in it. For many of the other humanoids of D&D, there is an inherent distrust of Tieflings, and in some cases, a deep fear of them. But there remains inexplicably fascination with Tieflings just the same. The plain-touched are often accused of secret plots and awful alliances, mostly without a shred of proof, because of who and what they are. A Tiefling learns early that life is unfair and hard. For some, the reaction to this is to fight back and to never let their foes see the pain. Other people, even other Tieflings, simply aren't viewed as allies and often are automatically considered enemies. Such a tiefling doesn't take a friend until they learn the measure of their companion, and even then, they'll never fully trust them. "I watch my own back," is an old tiefling quip. Tieflings are derived from human bloodlines, and in the broadest possible sense, they still look human. However, their infernal heritage has left a clear imprint on their appearance. Tieflings have large horns that take on a variety of shapes. Some have curling horns like a ram, others have straight and tall horns like a gazelle, and some spiral upward like an antelope's horns. They have thick tails, 4 to 5 feet long, which lash or coil around their legs when they get upset or nervous. Their canine teeth are sharply pointed, and their eyes are solid colors, black, red, white, silver, or gold, with no visible sclera or pupil. Their skin tones cover the full range of human coloration, but also include various shades of red, blue, or purple. Their hair cascading down from behind their horns is usually dark, from black or brown to dark red, blue, or purple. Some are less obviously fiendish in appearance, though, merely appearing to be part human and part something else. They can be described as humans who've been plane-touched. A shadow of knife edge in their face, a strange fire in their eyes, a scent of ash in their presence. All these things and more can be traits of a tiefling. Tieflings also have a number of abilities gifted to them by their fiendish heritage. By and large, tieflings are alluring and intelligent creatures, with a seductive aura in spite of their obviously evil ancestry. They have the ability to see in total darkness, inherent access to magic spells such as Hellish Rebuke or Darkness, and are often resistant to poison, fire, or necrotic damage. Most tieflings are aware from an early age that they are different from others around them, and few tieflings are raised with the love most children might expect to receive, and this shapes many into bitter individuals who expect eventual rejection from all whom they meet. While some follow this path towards evil, others reject it wholeheartedly and seek to make a good impact on the world around them, sometimes becoming the most heroic characters of all.
Bael Turath rose to power when the empire of Arcosia was at its peak, and it was inevitable that the upstart empire would come into conflict with the Dragonborn. The war that erupted when these two fearsome powers careened into each other engulfed the entire world. Dragonborn surged into the borders of Bael Turath by the thousands, and the wings of their masters darkened the sky. The devils responded in kind. Hellfire that could sizzle adamantine to slag rained on their foes, ending 1,000-year lives in the blink of an eye. The Tainted Ones turned the hearts of their foes black with corruption, sparking ancient feuds among the Dragonborn. As the threat from Arcosia grew more imminent, Lady Najala became suspicious of everyone and began scouring Vor-Rukoth's population for traitors. She called out those nobles who had refused to take infernal oaths, believing they conspired against her, and she erected a gate to hell to ensure her hold on power. Ultimately, it proved her undoing. As a Dragonborn host marched on the city, she desperately threw open the portal to any creatures that would aid her. On what came to be known as the Day of Devils, legions of fiends spilled out from the 9 hells. They repelled the Dragonborn host on the outskirts of Vor-Rukoth, but they also slaughtered the thousands who inhabited Vor-Rukoth. Najala's victory meant little, for the city was shattered and left a ruined vestige, as was both empires of Bael Turath and Arcosia.
Ignorant people tend to be suspicious of tieflings, assuming that their infernal heritage has left its mark on their personality and morality, not just their appearance. The reality is that a tiefling's bloodline does not affect their personality. They are gifted with magic from the infernal realms, but chart their own course in life. Lacking a homeland, tieflings know that they have to make their own way in the world and that they have to be strong to survive. Tieflings live with both pride and shame of who and what they are. They have no unified culture of their own, and most are loners. Some slip into the edges of human society, becoming poets and artists who describe the corrupt fringes of the respectable world. Others choose to embrace corruption, instead becoming swindlers, thieves or crime lords. Adventurous types often spend their years probing the unexplored edges of the multiverse, be it to survey strange lands or experiment in forgotten niches of magical science. Many Tieflings subsist in small minorities found mostly in human cities or towns, often in the roughest quarters of those places, where they contend with bigotry and inequity. Some live among other minority populations in enclaves where they are treated with more respect and kindness. And there are those that can trace their lineage to ancient bloodlines and have either gained or retained some level of influence due to this. For example, a Tiefling merchant clan that is descended from such a dynasty might settle as a group in a land where wealth can purchase safety and comfort. In the north of Faerun, the largest population of Tieflings is found in Neverwinter. Since the Ashmedai, a violent cult dedicated to Asmodeus, is also active in the city, mistrust of Tieflings isn't unusual even here, since folk never know if a Tiefling is a member of the Ashmedai or was drawn to Neverwinter by the opportunity to blend in that a metropolis provides. Tieflings are also common in Kalimshan, to the south, where many of them fought for the Jinn as mercenaries and now serve other masters with the coin to pay them. In the east, many Tieflings dwell in Aglarond and in Mulhorand, where Tieflings are believed to carry the blood of the ancient Mulhorandi gods themselves. Tiefling names fall into three broad categories. Tieflings born into another culture typically have names reflective of that culture. Some have names derived from the infernal language, passed down through generations, that reflect their fiendish heritage. And some younger Tieflings, striving to find a place in the world, adopt a name that signifies a virtue or other concept, and then try to embody that concept. For some, the chosen name is a noble quest. For others, it is a grim destiny. Although many folk believe that all Tieflings worship Asmodeus and the Lords of the Nine Hells or some other profane god, the truth is that only a fraction of them do so. Most often, Tieflings worship deities who watch over and care for outsiders, including Ilmater, Mask, Selune, Shar, and Timora. Gods of knowledge, survival, cunning, and warfare are also common attractions for Tieflings who value these qualities. Beshaba has Tiefling worshippers who consider the accident of their birth as a kind of cruel joke they have chosen to embrace. The origins of Tieflings is one mired in hearsay and confusion. Beyond the common superstition and racist rhetoric on the nature of Tieflings and how they came to be, there are three well-understood origin stories for Tiefling kind. The first is simple. Tieflings are born from lineages with fiend genetics or fiendish curses inserted into their bloodline at some point in their past. Whether through tryst, arcane or religious rite, or a curse of a powerful entity. A Tiefling is the expression of such genes of latent curse magic left in a family line. The second ties back to the Spell Plague, a disaster that struck realm space and even the planes themselves and was caused by Mystra's assassination at the hands of Cyric and Shar. The whiplash of this event hurled the god Azuth, a minor servitor deity in Mystra's service, across the cosmos. He eventually crashed in a weakened state into the deepest pit of the Nine Hells, Nessus, seat of the archfiend of Beator, Asmodeus. It is said that Asmodeus consumed the divine spark of Azuth and thereby achieved godhood. Subsequently, Asmodeus and a coven of warlocks performed a rite wherein the archdevil claimed all Tieflings in the world as his own, cursing them to bear the blood of Asmodeus. This act marked all Tieflings as descendants of the Lord of the Nine Hells, regardless of their true heritage, and changed them into creatures that resembled their supposed progenitor. The third is most commonly found on worlds other than Toril. This origin story claims that hundreds of years ago, the leaders of the human empire of Bael Turath made pacts with devils to solidify their holds over its enormous territory. Those humans became the first Tieflings, and they governed their empire in the name of their infernal masters. In time, Bael Turath came into conflict with Arcosia, the ancient empire of the Dragonborn, and decades of warfare left both empires in ruins. Tieflings descended from such an origin are the heirs of the surviving noble dynasties that ruled the empire. Their bloodline is tainted by their diabolical connections, passing to their descendants through all generations. Thus, Tieflings were once human, and they owe their fiendish bloodline to an infernal bargain made long ago, sundered from humanity by their ancestors' overzealous ambitions. The diaspora that followed the fall of Bael Turath is a wound on the face of history. Dozens of conflicting reports on the nation's final days, who ruled and which factions held power, remain in the scrolls to confound historians and others who are interested in the truth. The only certainty is that the children of Bael Turath, the Tieflings, bear a certain inherited appearance and power from their association with the dark powers. Hellish power that courses through the veins of Tieflings, power they can use for great good or for terrible evil.
But still, the rumors of the shattered empire persist. The tainted masters of countless empires ruled from Vor Kragal, their seat of power. Vor Kragal pulsed with the terrifying might to break the souls of kings, and its markets flowed with the treasures of 100 worlds. The secrets of life everlasting and the power to touch the face of the gods were all as commonplace to the Tieflings of old as irrigating crops or erecting a simple stone wall is to those living in our current age. The magic of the present is a crude tool when compared to the dance of the elements seen in the past. Such power. For even a glimpse of it, a person might trade his soul. Now, though, the ruins of Vor Kragal are merely an ashen landscape that unknown terrors call home. And the nightmares and hellish shades who prowl the ruined city of Vor Kragal don't take trespass lightly. Still, adventurers have been known to seek it out from time to time, lured by tales of Bael Turath's lost secrets, which are mired in the sunken landscape.
This has been D&D Legends and Lore. Thank you for watching or listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are listening to the podcast version, please consider leaving us an Apple Podcast review. It really helps with discoverability. Thank you to all of our wonderful supporters over on Patreon. You guys directly help keep the lights on here at D&D Legends and Lore. Thank you to our new video editor, Sean Alexander. A link to his content in the description. And lastly, if you enjoy the lore we discuss here on D&D Legends and Lore, you may also be interested in lore that we came up with on our own. I am the author and publisher of a 5e D&D book titled Starseeker's Guide to Drakenstar, a science fantasy setting for 5e D&D. If you're interested in that book, the link will also be in the description. And with that being said, thank you and happy adventuring.